or certain iconic elements, you'll start reading them as background as buildings. And a lot of people get psyched out by backgrounds because they feel like they have to use a ruler, they have to measure things, they have to use photo reference, and those are all good things to do actually to start, but here's a shortcut. You get another piece of paper that's kind of thick, that's your ruler, because I actually have no rulers or compasses. All my circular shapes. No, I don't need one. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm advanced to the point where I no rulers, man. Fight the power. I don't have compasses, so every circular shape I either freehanded or it's usually the size of a compass. So if you take the circle, every circle is the same size. It's a CD that's been shrunk down 64%. Anyway, so I take this, take a pen, and you basically, like Julian fries. Have you ever seen those commercials where they chop those things up, where we see a chef and they just, right? What? Slap chop? Is that what it's called? I don't know what it's called. I thought it was like Julian, is it Julian fries? Yeah. Right, so I will go through and draw a lot of parallel lines like this. Okay. So those are my skyscrapers, and usually what happens is there's a lot of street level light from headlights and things like that in stores. This has a point somewhere. So it's good to kind of just fade out those lines like that. You can look at water towers. All right, so now you can start putting some rooftops. Some of these buildings have towers, the lights there. In Gotham City, you have bridges that connect buildings. All right. So I'm actually just kind of free-forming, just kind of making this stuff up as I draw across the page. And what you find is that there are very few buildings that are completely symmetrical. They tend to have all sorts of odd things because people add on to buildings and add things, cranes, stuff like that. And I do kind of a loose approximate. I know that perspective like the horizon line somewhere over here, so as it comes down, it generally starts approaching that horizon line. And it's just about kind of creating visual rhythm. Air conditioning units or something, I don't know, balconies. Something I picked up from Frank Miller, Dark Knight, or actually Daredevil. So I'm just going in and just layering on. It's sort of like doodling, it's free form, and just basically layering a pattern. And I'm doing it a little faster than I normally do it, but you can sort of see, right? It's starting to build up, right? The texture. There's a factory with a power plant here. And this is that fade kind of going down that represents the fact that it is lighter at the bottom. Oh, sorry. Feel free to talk out. Yeah, I know. You know what? I haven't done this. I'm sorry. Right. Okay. So, right. This is not too long. Right. And then you can take a thicker marker and actually start blacking out some of these. It's just about creating patterns, visual interest. Right. And then of course. You guys seen any good movies lately?
Cloverfield Lane. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
How was that?
Anyway, so that's how we do backgrounds. And what's really good.
Ooh, that was impressive.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of times these buildings next to here
Took a
cast
comic
shadow
book during class.
across the buildings
It was
themselves.
fun. And then I was a model for a comic figure during class. And it sucked. But it prepared me for the college.
Do you guys have any requests, something you'd like to see drawn or something kind of discussed? Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
What? Jim, yeah. A self-portrait. Okay, alright. You guys are tripping out on me, man. It's a different crowd than San Diego Comic-Con. That's right. Oh, so the one last thing, you can also take a whiteout pen. These are Presto jumbo correction pens. And then you can also draw little dots and lights.
Oh, cool.
This is really too thick. Where is it attached to? Huh? Is there a way of doing this? This is a two-parter. Oh, is it on page again? Oh, sorry. Alright. Okay, Wonder Woman. We'll do Wonder Woman first. Draw Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman is just, I just draw a Superman with longer hair. And then yeah. You guys have been strangely attracted. Now you know why. I always start with an oval. For whatever reason, the easiest way for me to draw a face is 3/4 looking to the left. I don't know why. It just has become that way. You draw these lines that basically where the eyes kind of fall, where the mouth falls. I don't draw those lines when I work professionally. I do that here so you can sort of see what you should be doing. And I think that's the single biggest thing I see young artists not really pay attention to is the distances between things, right? So they'll draw like a Batman head, but then one eye will be much higher than the other, or there's no room for the ear. So you got to be constantly aware as you put something down on paper, like what's around it and how far away it is from the next thing. So if one eye's here, the nose is here, then the other eye's got to be over here, right? But since it's slightly turned, this eye will be a little larger than that one, but just a little bit. Nose goes here. The ear is roughly off this line over to the side. Here's your center line, the star's got to be right here. And then the tiara is there. Alright? Alright. Let's see what happens. Does anyone have a question while I draw? About Wonder Woman? Yeah, I can just, yeah, sure. So. Right here. There it is, right there. That's Wonder Woman's eyes. Okay. Yes.
For aspiring artists, would you feel like drawing versus drawing from
57.4. Depending on on the day, 50% of the course, usually the percent I go for. When I was younger, they always said, draw from life, and I said, man, that is boring. I don't want to draw, people sitting around the airport, waiting for their flights, trees. But it is useful. But you have to come to it through your own journey, I guess. Like me, I can draw all that stuff now and I enjoy it. But at the time, I just thought it was very kind of pedantic, or just like, why are you boring me with these? But I also used to not draw any underdrawing. I would just draw straight to the page, and I would start drawing, and then I would end up with the figure kind of not enough room for me to draw the rest of the figures. I was very undisciplined, and then you realize over time that, you know what, all these things that they teach you, maybe they were right. Maybe you should kind of draw some construction lines and stuff like that. So, but if I draw like this, it makes it feel like it's magic or something, right? I don't know. When I watch this stuff on YouTube, and not a lot, but when you see it, they're like, wow, that's weird. Like, it feels like it's jumping off that pen. So sometimes it kind of even surprises me in terms of what I end up with.
What's your favorite one to draw?
Excuse me?
What's your favorite one to draw?
Right now it's Wondercon. And I say that because if you're drawing any sort of project or assignment, you want to be in love with what you're doing. You want to bring all the passion and excitement that you have for the project to that book, because I mean, ostensibly you're going to create a book that you're expecting people to buy and read and enjoy, and you don't want to buy anything that I just kind of half-heartedly liked or thought was kind of cool, but not worthy of my full attention. So whatever project I've got going on, and I just finished Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's special. I had a lot of fun with it, but I had to really focus on the characters and say, all right, Killer Croc, he's my man. Like, always want to draw Killer Croc, and you just kind of repeat that mantra so that you draw the best Killer Croc you can. So. Do I miss Wildcats? You mean like late at night when I'm in my bed in my pajamas, like, oh my gosh, if I just had some Wildcats. There are times I haven't drawn them for a while, so I haven't missed them. But it's funny because in this Harley Quinn April Fool's special, the Justice League make an appearance. And as I was drawing them, I started missing them. It was like a real, like they were real people or something. I said, I've been doing this for too long. Huh? Oh, sorry. Hold on. I gotta find the appropriate photos. Thank you, whoever. You got my back, man. Thank you. Yeah, I just gotta be careful. These things, yeah. All right, hold on a second. Okay, so can you see this? Can you? If I what? Brightness of my screen. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, I'm not using technology the right way. Yeah. All right. So this one actually is a little longer in the face than that.
So Jim, I have a question. My daughter is 4, but she loves drawing since she was 2. So do you think it's a good age? Right now she's drawing whatever. It's great. What age do you think it's start to make structure?
Boy. 18? I'm serious. I would say at that age, man, let them have fun and draw.
I just wonder if there's anything I can do.
once. I really just kind of drew for fun until I was about 18 years old, and then that's when I started getting kind of serious and got some art books and things like that. This one's a little nicer. What do I think of what?
How do you feel the rendition of Batman v Superman characters compared to your version of characters?
I thought they looked fantastic. I thought Wonder Woman really kind of stole the show. I love it. Yeah, well, you know, you might not have seen the movie. I'm sorry, yeah. They put me in the credits? Were you waiting because you thought there might be a scene at the end after the credits? I figure only die-hard comic book fans would see like my name in the credits because you're waiting there. Spoiler, there's nothing at the end. So, but yeah, it was cool to see that. Yeah. Wait, let me finish answering that other question. I'm trying to think of a good answer. Gosh. You know, I expect the movie versions of these characters to all be different anyway. But I think Zach he's always had a talent for being able to translate the action and the magnitude and the scope of what we draw in real life. I thought all the fight scenes, I thought it was literally War of the Gods, and everything was so magnified, and how terrifying that would be if you were a regular person watching this happen. Even though you knew these heroes are on your side. So I thought it was super well done. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. You weren't brave enough to yell it out. Now then you jump on after that guy yells it out. Yeah, what about that? Yeah, exactly. That's right. I did talk to Frank about it.
What was the answer?
It was like, yeah. No, I'm serious. It wasn't like, oh, good, here's a contract, please sign, Frank. He and I want to work together, and that would definitely be one of the projects. He has a definitive ending and storyline that he wants to do. And I literally saw him just this past Monday. It's Monday, yeah. So.
Jay, have you ever considered doing an anime crossover with your DC characters?
Wait, what was that? Sorry, my hearing's not so great.
Have you ever considered doing like an anime crossover with your DC characters?
Anime crossover?
Yeah.
Anime is very broad, very broad. You mean like hentai or whatever? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. Everyone's like Googling. Yeah. Yeah. I once said that to but I'm not going to share this. I was like, tentacle something, and then people were like, I think they were freaked out that I even knew about it. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to jump to the ink. This is Rapidograph Black and ink. This is great because it's very portable. Oh, black inks. This is a brush, obviously. And we'll just put some ink in here. You can just put it right here. Just kind of quickly.
Damn.
I would love to do a run on on Wonder Woman. I've expressed before my desire to work on Legion of Superheroes. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Give some away up there.
But even Batman, I think it would be kind of fun to do Batman again. And certainly, if I do Batman again, well, you know what? I take it back. I would love to do, return to the All-Star Batman world. But there is another Batman project that I'm going to do. I can't really discuss other than what I just said. Yeah. The what? that haven't been created yet, that I have not just known that I want to. What? Very existential question here. What? This is getting. Wait, what was the question again? Right, was that the question that they just asked, or is that different? Oh, okay, sorry. Distinction. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a jerk. Can't help it. You know, before I did a panel on Hanna-Barbera, we were talking about like characters we wanted to see, you know, like Scooby-Doo interact with, and my answer was Josie and the Pussycats. Yes. And I would say that Marvel, like Black Widow and Captain America, was. I could say anything, you know. Lumpy, what was that guy's name? The mailman? Lumpkin? What's his name? Willie Lumpkin, right? You know what I'm talking about?
No idea.
There's the mail, fantastic. They better for their own good. Yeah. No, they don't. They read manga, right? Japanese comics, and they love Harry Potter, and they read a little of the Dark Phoenix saga, but they quit before I think they got to my run. So they were pretty uncoachable. Albeit like, hey, you know, that's not really how you draw eyes. And they just kind of give me dirty looks and stuff. Made for very awkward dinners. So they're all really good artists, though, all of them. They're not really into Western comics, at least that I know. An animated Hush film? No, you know, I doubt it, because generally those are standalone stories, and the thing with Hush is that it would be very long. Most of those adaptations are like four-part stories or five-part stories. Hush is a 12-part story, so it would be a very, very long one. But it would be great if they did. That'd be a lot of fun. Two-parter, there you go. You should market sales, man, marketing. Like, hey, we should just make 2 parts. You're right, that would solve it. But yeah, I don't know. Why don't they? Why don't they?
Yeah, if you were Batman does
Ooh. Was that your question? Oh, sorry. If I were a Batman villain, it's like when I applied for jobs out of college, like the big scary questions were like, if you were a fruit, what would you be and why? I'm serious.
What is
This
it
is
show?
like things that
How you get the tickets?
I want to ask people that will come to work at DC, if you could be one of our heroes, what would you
Push
be
it
and
to all the
why?
rest of it.
I would be our man. Sorry, I'll think I can better answer it. No, so you guys know who our man is, right? In his most recent incarnation, I think he could, I think he could take a pill or do something, and he would go to another dimension for an hour. And that's just the right amount of time. But it was an hour outside of our time continuum, right? So he would basically get an extra hour of life when he wanted to. You know that? Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm gonna have to go downstairs.
I usually take a piece of paper, like a napkin, and dab it, so it goes faster. You can do it by just, right? It's already dry.
Jim, how could you age this picture by 15 years right now?
How could I age this?
Yeah, how could you age her?
What kind of questions are these? What? How can I age this drawing by 15 years? Is that what you meant?
Technique. How could you make her look 20 years old right now?
20 years older?
Yeah, something like that.
She's a goddess. She doesn't age. This is her acting like she's like 200,000 years or something already at this point. She was super hot when she was at ball of clay, but then she kind of hit the wall at year 300. Wait, hold on. Ooh, Cersei maybe, but I think that's one of the flaws and one of the things that kind of excites me about working on Wonder Woman is to try to come up with a real proper rogues gallery. I don't know who the person is looking at a white light. But it'd be awesome to be able to kind of create a more extensive rogues gallery for her. Ares is good, but it's it's like it will be like Bizarro or something. That's too in her wheelhouse. It'd be cool to create a standalone villain that felt independent of the mythology.
How about mixing the North gods?
Mixing the Norse gods? You mean like Thor? Right. Loki. Daughter of Darkseid. Yeah, that's a daughter of Darkseid, right? So. A favorite character that I created by myself. I don't think I've created any characters by myself. Gambit was with Chris Claremont. Omega Red was with, I think, Brandon Choi. Hush was with Jeff Lowe. You know what? I don't really think about that too much. If I want to draw the character, I can whip out a piece of paper and do it. I do feel a little guilty afterwards.
Guilty pleasure?
But no, I don't think about it too often because, in a way, it's been such a long time. I've been working in the industry for 30 years. So I want to have a Kleenex by chance? Yeah. No, not any. I've got this. I'm going to just use it to draw with a little bit. But there's not a lot. I have friends that will go, hey, can you draw me like the Fantastic Four? And so, I get to kind of draw them every now and then for fun. But there's. Oh no, I would never mix it. No. Never cross the street. Bad things happen. Are you a shareholder or something? Sounds like there's a 57.4 chance. That's my answer for everything. It's my greatest career-wise. That's that. Some serious questions. I think it's what I kind of look for, what I like in things are not necessarily the things that you guys like. So, Hush sells very well. I know that. I see the numbers, so I assume people really like that. But it's more specific panels and stories that I really like, or breakthroughs where I drew something for the first time. There's a shot of Batman, and he's looking down on the Riddler, and it's a slight upshot, and it's kind of like how that upshot turned out. And so every issue that I draw, regardless of the storyline, there's usually one or two panels that kind of stand out as something that I feel was sort of a mental breakthrough or a stylistic breakthrough, and that's the kind of stuff. Nice. I have seen your son's work, and it does make me feel. I think it's dangerous to look at other people's work because you'll always find someone that's better than you. So that could be very disheartening. I know when I first got into comics, and you know, I was thinking about my career and all that, and then you start seeing other people that kind of broke into comics around your time and how their careers were going, it can really unsettle you and kind of mess you up, I think. And it was a big kind of breakthrough for me psychologically, just saying, all right, I can only focus on what I do, my career, and that was huge for me. So I would tell your 12-year-old son, oh, sorry. Oh, he's there right there. So, no, that's awesome. And I'll also tell you, if you saw the drawings I did when I was 12, I mean, they weren't great, you know. I still draw better than most of the kids in my class, but if you looked at it, and I have posted them up online every now and then, and people are like, what, that's you? Like when you were 16? Like now I've got hope and everything. And I'm like, it's not that bad. You know? So I get a little defensive. I go, show me your work, and we'll decide who's better. But yeah, I mean, people are really like, hey, I do have, you know, feelings, you know. I know it's crude or whatever, but also I hired a lot of artists at Wildstorm, brought a lot of people in, and there would be amazing talents coming in when they're like 18 or 19, but then sometimes you'd see someone that wasn't that gifted or initially, but they just worked super hard, and then you could see the leaps and bounds that they got better and better. And I always use like Lee Bermejo as an example. I wrote a foreword for his book, and I felt it was kind of a backhanded compliment, basically saying you weren't so good, but then you worked really hard and got really good. And which is what he did when he came in. He was kind of a Will Spartasio 90s cross-hatching kind of clone, but over the years he just worked so hard at his craft. I mean, and then he's got this really unique, very powerful, visceral style, and it all came from him. And so you can really see that it's not fully laid out by the time you're 12 or 18, you know. The story's not fully written. 12-year-old be an intern? I have had kids come in, so there was a 12-year-old kid that used to come in and draw in the office with us. Back when we had artists in one big room, and he would come in after work. His mother was kind of a family friend, but I think she also was one of the early investors in Chipotle or something. And so she would come in with these decks of cards and just give us these deck of Chipotle cards, and each card you could turn in for burritos.
Yeah.
We got super fat and super sick. No.
Oh, that was corporate sabotage. That was corporate sabotage.
And
It totally
so that was
was.
cool. And but this kid was really charming, and he just basically drew.
It's a
But he actually
Colorado
drew some pretty
company,
twisted
so
stuff. To be honest, like a lot of
No, not
sexual,
anymore.
violent stuff. But I had to be cool and go, oh yeah, that looks cool. Because I want to be. This is all. This is completely true. Because I want to be supportive, right? I want to say like, oh my gosh, you need some serious help. This is some, whatever. And but then he eventually became an intern and worked at Mad Magazine in New York. He went to Sarah Lawrence College, and now he works at the New Yorker as a cartoonist. So it worked out. But I would not have been able to tell from his sick drawings that he would become this very talented kid later on. So so it does happen sometimes. But I think now, because we're here at Wondercon, I think we do have interns, but we have to pay them, and they are juniors in college. So if you're a junior in college and you're part of an affiliated college that works and provides interns to Warner Brothers, you can get a job there. But yeah. Yes, and you. Who's the biggest inspiration? If I'm not your biggest, it's a backhanded compliment. It's like, you are my top 10 fan. You're the third best looking guy I've seen today.